Adrian, good evening to you. So, here they are again. Manchester City, deep in Europe, back at the Bernabeu, a year almost to the day after the 5-minute spell that rocked them to their core when their place in the Champions League final vanished in unfeasible circumstances. Rodrigo double strike in 30 seconds of play that brought a vicious swing of the pendulum from the form book to the history book. Real ultimately added yet another European crown. City still wait for their first. This competition is still the glaring omission on an extraordinary roll of honour steadily accrued over the last decade or so, and for a third successive year they've entered May with a chance to rectify that fact. And it's Real again who represent the penultimate hurdle in a competition on which they have a magical hold, defying odds and domestic form to pull back from the brink. 14-time winners, as the Tifosi away to the left-hand side testified. The King and his cup, it said, the massive picture of the Champions League and the big number 14 in the middle. City hoping for number 1. It's Real, the most storied of them all, but it's not about your history, it's about making history, and there's plenty for City to make over the next 32 days. Real Madrid lineup: Courtois in goal, Carvajal, Rudiger, Alaba and Camavinga, Valverde, Kroos and Modric, Rodrigo, who scored those 2 goals to salvage the semi-final second leg here, Benzema and Vinicius. City, Ederson in goal, Morka, Diaz and Akanji if it is this hybrid formation, 3 at the back, Stones and Rodri ahead of them, but clear chance of Walker playing as a conventional right back in a 4 with Stones at centre half. Silva and Grealish will be wide. Grealish rested at the weekend, but he has started the previous 19 matches that Manchester City have had against top-flight opposition. Very much a favourite of Pep's these days. De Bruyne and Gundogan in central midfield, and 51-goal Erling Haaland leading the line. The bench for City: Phillips, Laporte, Alvarez, Sergio Gomez, Mahrez and Foden, Palmer and Lewis, Carson and Ortega. And the Bernabeu is a sea of white, with the exception of the little pocket of travelling Manchester City supporters who've sold out their allocation away to our right. Some sky blue shirts in there and some yellow and black shirts in there as well. And the men on the field wearing red and black today, evoking memories of yesteryear. The referee is the Portuguese official Artur Dias. And we're about to get underway. It's 24 years since an English side claimed the domestic and European treble. Now there are just 8 games between Manchester City and their part in footballing immortality. And whilst this Real Madrid aren't the only significant hurdle in their way, they are the biggest. So as City face the European champions again, can they get it right this time? Alongside me, as we get underway, City kicking from right to left, is the former Manchester City manager, Stuart Pearce.
Hi Jim, evening. What a game we've got in store for us here. And just looking at City trying to get a grasp on that back line. I think it's going to be a 4, to be fair, whether John Stones will get the opportunity to dip into midfield, but if he is going to, it'll be from right centre half, as it looks.
Well, the boos and whistles are for the first free kick given against Manchester City. A challenge from Jack Grealish, who caught Rodrigo. And the free kick has been taken quickly. Rodrigo back on his feet. The ball is laid back for Thibaut Courtois. He's played in a couple of Champions League finals, 1 for Real and 1 against them back in 2014. And he plays the ball out from the back. No great tempo about the game in the very early exchanges as Rodrigo plays it out to David Alaba. Alaba midway between the edge of his own penalty area and the halfway line, turns and goes back for his goalkeeper again.
I'll tell you what is evident even at this early stage, Jim, the transferability of the back line of Manchester City. It was Diaz who stepped in on Valverde there, and Akanji just coming from left back straight into play centre half, you know. It's exchangeable.
Here's Grealish. Akanji making his way forward, just flicking the ball forward towards Grealish. Ilkay Gundogan has it now, man who was denied his first ever senior hat-trick by the post at the weekend from that penalty miss. Angel laying it back for Ruben Diaz. Stones in this passage of play has just pushed forward that little bit further from centre half as Stewart was detailing into the midfield alongside Rodri. And Rodri has it again on halfway. The referee has to take evasive action, playing in towards Haaland, and the first contribution from him is to win a free kick. He's played 27 Champions League ties in his career. He's scored in 20 of those 27. 35 goals in those 20 games. And his battle against Rudiger clearly is going to be one of the keys today. And he's won the first mini instalment of it, winning this free kick he backed in.
Exactly that, Jim. He's won the first instalment of it, and you've got to keep chipping away at defenders and saying, right, you get yourself heated and hot up, and eventually you'll get booked, and then you're in big trouble.
So City with the free kick. De Bruyne short for Gundogan. Gundogan firing it inside the penalty area. Camavinga's able to get it away. City winning it back with Bernardo Silva. Starts so many of the big games for Manchester City on that right flank. Does so again tonight. Can't find a way through down by the dead ball line. And Real are able to bring it away and play beautifully around the Manchester City press. And they'll work it forward quickly here with Vinicius. City have got to shake back behind the ball. Fired inside the penalty area. Just fell behind Benzema. City made a bit of a meal of getting it away. It's a ricochet from Rodri and went back towards the edge of his own penalty area for a moment, but Walker can calm things down, and now Gundogan has got a fair bit of space, and he can go out wide of the Manchester City right-hand side for Silva. Good movement down the right from Kevin De Bruyne, and he wins the first corner of the night. 3.5 minutes gone on Talksport. It's Real Madrid 0, Manchester City 0.
Well, I've got to say, Madrid fantastic there. They're in their own corner flag. They play out, great interaction. Vinicius Junior covers ground, puts the ball in the box. City sweep up the other end of the pitch. This isn't going to be a cagey affair tonight.
So the first corner will be taken on the Manchester City right. And it's fired in towards the penalty spot. Diaz had got his forehead to it. It breaks for Grealish on the left-hand side of the box. Diaz couldn't get the touch to steer it towards goal that he wanted. It ended up being an effective pass. Bernardo Silva lays it back for Walker. Walker pinging an excellent ball down towards Grealish, who controls it on his solar plexus, then brings it down towards the edge of the area, sets up Ilkay Gundogan, gets a shot in, might have been going wide, deflected anyway, and cleared. City winning back with Akanji stepping forward. This is really good, intense attacking play from Manchester City. Phase after phase, denying Real Madrid the opportunity really to get it away. And it comes back down for Grealish again. 0-0 with 5 gone on Talksport. Live from the Bernabeu tonight. Jim Bradford and Stuart Pearce talking you through the action. Gundogan back inside his own half for Ruben Diaz. Now towards Walker. Walker controlling it about 6 yards inside his own half and brings it into a more central position before going back for Rodri. I think Pep Guardiola will be happy with the early building blocks that have been laid in the opening 5 minutes here. Here's De Bruyne, forward for Gundogan again. Real defending quite narrow, so Camavinga just takes a watching brief as the long ball is pinged down towards the Manchester City right for Bernardo Silva. It comes back for Gundogan. Gundogan flicking it out towards the right. Awkward one for Walker to control. Camavinga got between 2 City players and was able to clear. Rodri can pick up the loose ball in the midfield. And Real Madrid can't get out of their own half at the moment.
I'll tell you what, the best means of defence for City is starving Madrid of the ball. And they're like a well-oiled machine, City. I've got to say, first 5 minutes, bear in mind they're away from home in the first leg of a semi-final. The opposition will be looking to hopefully lay a glove on them, and City have dominated the game.
And now it comes for Haaland inside the penalty area, trying to wriggle his way through and work the angle. He was unable to do that. Toni Kroos was back defending, and Real will try and get it away, but they're hemmed in their own left-back position for a moment. Haaland was able to block the out ball. So Real just had to think again. Now they can work it wide, and Carvajal with a little defensive header will play it down for Tony Rudiger, but this wasn't what the home crowd were anticipating tonight.
No, certainly wasn't. City have come out, and the arrogance that they've got with the ball at their feet, City, is quite incredible, and these early stages are looking very, very positive for City.
They've 5 games away from home in the Champions League this season. City, they've only won 1 of them. They've drawn each of the last 4. Well, I think that they've played with an intensity in the opening 7 minutes here that we haven't often seen in those away games in the Champions League this season, and they force another error here. Rodri just shuffling Valverde down towards the touchline where he ran out of room and concedes a throw. City take the throw quickly, go back for Ederson. 7 gone 0-0.
Yeah, as I say, I've been really impressed with the way they've grabbed this game by the scruff of the neck, City. And we've got to bear in mind tonight, you say they've only won 1 on the road, Jim, in 5. They don't have to win tonight for it to be a good result either. You know, quite often you come here, you get a home, get an away result, and all of a sudden puts you in a very good situation back at home.
Yeah, those 5 games they have only conceded 2 goals, so they can still say that at the end of tonight. They'll feel that they're very definitely in the box seat. Here's Kevin De Bruyne, City on the front foot again, worked out towards Bernardo Silva, stepping over it. De Bruyne, good save, diving to his left-hand side from Courtois, and then as the ricochet comes back out to Walker, he's in an offside position. But the first sign of goal goes Manchester City's way, the blonde-haired Belgian firing one in.
Tell you what, fantastic setup. Bernardo Silva's got all the space and time in the world on that right-hand side. Laid it back brilliantly, perfect ball, invitation on it, said come and hit it first time, and this fella De Bruyne doesn't take a second invite to hit the target. To be honest with you, I think Real Madrid have been shaken personally,
and again they can't play out, and Manchester City win another corner. Haaland was involved in that. Bernardo Silva's had an excellent start and made his 300th appearance for City at the weekend. Very brief cameo off the bench in that game against Leeds, and he's won a corner here which De Bruyne will take. Really good start from Pep's Manchester City, but nothing to show for it so far. De Bruyne to take this corner. Silva stands hands on hips in the D. Now he makes his way inside the penalty area. Nearly everybody is sprawled inside the penalty area. Silva was the target on the bottom left-hand corner of the box. Got his head to it, finds Grealish. Grealish goes back for Gundogan. He in turn will retrace his steps and play back for Walker. And Walker's more than happy just to go 30 yards back for his goalkeeper. And Ederson with this laconic style that he has, so languid in possession, never fazed by anything, just calmly side foots the ball out. And Manchester City will bring it forward again with Rodri finding Stones. Stones stepping up, 15 inside the Real Madrid half as he goes square for Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan has scored a goal in a Champions League final in the past. A little 1-2 between him and Akanji. And Gundogan again. Now to Stones. Stones is in the central position, 30 yards out, ventures forward. Not quite into shooting territory. He goes back for Kyle Walker instead. Walker forward once more for Stones. Now to Bernardo. Silva back towards halfway for Walker. Walker's crossfield ball brought down by Akanji, and Akanji makes his way forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Slips into his left for Grealish. Grealish with a chance to run at Danny Carvajal. De Bruyne trying to supply Grealish with a return ball inside the penalty area. Carvajal with a hasty ball back to his goalkeeper. Courtois can clear, and Real will be able to bring it away. But City, not shy in committing bodies forward, have to make sure that they don't play the Real Madrid hands on the counter-attack. Real looking long for Benzema on that occasion, too long, straight through to Ederson. But Real, if they're taking a positive from the way the opening 10 minutes have gone, Stuart, is the fact that City might be playing into their hands on the counter.
Well, City are dominating the ball. The game's been a sea of possession by City, and then in between that, 2 sort of semi-counter-attack threats from Real Madrid that have just said, look, we can sweep from one end of the pitch to the other. What they're doing, Madrid, is playing a very narrow back four, especially Camavinga on the in the left-back position. He's tucking in narrow, and that's allowing City to play it out wide to Bernardo, or alternatively De Bruyne, who's gravitating into that area of the pitch as well to receive the ball.
I think you can make a case that the way that Camavinga comes in and the way that City press, it just invites, if they don't quite get the angles of the press right, the ball to go back to Courtois, who then has a pass on out to Vinicius in particular on that left flank. It hasn't been something that Real Madrid have been able to exploit so far, but it is an omnipresent threat. And now Camavinga will try and work it down the line. Vinicius trying to turn. Walker's there first, back for Edison calmly out to Diaz to Stones to Gundogan, and it just looked a little bit panic-stricken. It wasn't in the slightest. They beautifully played through the press again, under pressure from white shirts converging from all sides, but there was never any sense from those City players themselves that possession was about to be lost.
Jim, there was only panic with the City fans and in this box in the commentary area when we're thinking it's getting tight back there, gentlemen, but they seem so supremely confident with each other's ability to receive the ball in tight areas, and you've got to be at this level to play the way Pep wants you to play.
In fairness to you, I think only half of the two of us were panicking as well. It wasn't you. Here's Diaz to Walker. You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport with Till, card payment provider from NatWest. It's 0-0, 13 minutes gone. 70-30 of possession in Manchester City's favour, and they're on the front foot again. It's not just that they've had the possession, they've had it in really good areas of the pitch as well. A lot of it around the final third. And they've got it again now with Grealish. Grealish is level with the edge of the box. De Bruyne lets the ball run past him. It goes back for Rodri, let him fly! And again, Courtois had to get down very quickly. Got a right hand to it. Tips it round the post for Manchester City's third corner.
Good save there, grass cutter by Rodri. He's hit it, it's not got off the ground, but it's right in the corner. And Courtois has done well, good solid right hand to parry it away. What they've got to watch out for, John Stones stepping into midfield, and rightly so, he's got plenty of room to do so, comfortable build-up, but the counter-attack area, Benzema, Vinicius Jr. just gravitating 30 metres out looking for the counter.
City's third corner without reply. De Bruyne towards the edge of the penalty area, then clip back in left-footed. Diaz is in there, Haaland's in there. Haaland ends up on the deck. They lent into him. He's claiming that there was a penalty, but Rudiger just stands up and applauds and gets back to his feet, and Haaland's protest really didn't last for long at all. It's 0-0 with 14 minutes gone here on Talksport. You've seen a replay of it.
Yeah, no, Carvajal's coming, just tucking in from the right back position. A little nudge on Haaland. Say, I'm not sure enough to give a penalty, but it certainly was a nudge.
Haaland has it again and cleverly flicks it around the corner for De Bruyne, and now we'll play it back. Haaland, and it's straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. Another low shot. Courtois got down well to save, but that's 4 attempts we've seen in this game, and City have had them all, and 3 have been on target. And Real Madrid give it away now as they play out from the back. City once more with Grealish out towards Bernardo Silva. Good movement off the ball from De Bruyne, maybe ran into an offside position, so it's played deeper instead for Walker. And Real Madrid, I don't know how many touches of the ball they have had in Manchester City territory, but it's no exaggeration to say that City will have had probably 30 times as many in Real Madrid's half as the other way round. Grealish chesting the ball down, now faced up by Carvajal, slows it down. They're trying to double up on him. Valverde's back. Grealish has beaten him. It's Haaland, and again it's saved. Far post header, back across the face of goal. Courtois makes the save. It's been a brilliant first 15 minutes from Manchester City against the European champions. As the old adage goes, when you're on top, particularly when you're on top as much as they are, you've simply got to make the most of it.
Yeah, you would hope they would, but at the moment they're just breaking the hearts of Real Madrid, and Madrid dealing with scraps, but we know they've got cutting edge, and you've got to be fearful of them at all times.
Now Real have it around the edge of the City box, and Benzema is trying to get in, and Kanji heads it away. City's defensive record this season is almost identical to that as Gundogan is brought down by Carvajal, almost identical to that at this stage last season when they came away from Real Madrid having lost. They've conceded 42 goals in their 53 games in all competitions this season, Manchester City. They have scored 138. So 3.5 times as many. Those Nero's makes no difference. And the defensive record on the road is pretty sound. 18 conceded in 23 away games in Premier League and Champions League combined.
I think there'll be very few games in the Champions League this season where an away team have so many efforts on target, Jim, in the first 15 minutes.
It has been one-way traffic. Never look at this. We're just seeing players going round on the field and didn't know anything about the geography of the game. You never sense that Manchester City were the away team here. There has been an excellent performance from them so far. Bernardo Silva just having a little nibble at Vinicius. Real Madrid again trying to bring it forward, but De Bruyne could block it. Haaland will take it on, back towards the Belgian. Ricochets back off him, and Modric, who we've hardly mentioned so far, hasn't really been able to have any influence, but he can chest it down. And now it'll be worked down towards the right-hand side for Rodrigo on the front of the Real Madrid, attacking three. Good reverse ball. Edison a little slow off his line, just hesitated. He got there though. Came out and saved at the feet of Karim Benzema. Just a little warning shot across the Manchester City bows.
Well, it's been 3 times now that they've gone through the gears, Real Madrid, and that was probably the closest of the lot. And when Benzema's gone through, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, he got on the end of that, and you're thinking, Edison, don't get involved. Don't be late to the ball, but credit to the goalkeeper, fantastically alert off his line.
Gundogan. Back for Ruben Dias. He's in the centre circle. 18 minutes gone on Talksport at 0-0. Second leg of this one is a week tomorrow. We've got that one live for you as well from the Etihad. Bernardo Silva gets to the byline, plays it in. Kroos has spent a lot of his time in between the two centre halves to try and have a little bit of defensive protection. Gets it away there. Whacked upfield as far as Akanji. And now Ilkay Gundogan has it for Manchester City and plays it back out towards Bernardo. Camavinga forces him to go back for Walker. Walker through the midfield for John Stones. Modric engages. They just played round Modric beautifully. Stones continuing his run forward, goes down right on the edge of the penalty area. Play goes on. Jack Grealish has it now inside the box. De Bruyne in support for him, behind him. Grealish playing it back. Gundogan on the curl, puts it over the top right-hand corner, and now City will have an inquest as to why a free kick wasn't given their way right on the edge of the box for the foul on Stones.
Yeah, it was Camavinga's gone to the ground, dangled a leg. To be fair to John Stones, looking at the replay, I think he's hurdled it, but he's gone down very cheaply as well.
Stones is back at centre half for a moment to head the latest long Real Madrid ball away. One of the most improved players in Premier League football this season, John Stones. They say that he's learned this new position from Rico Lewis, who was the first at City to really grasp the nuts and bolts of what Pep wanted to do. And Stones has been able to take that on and become even more accomplished in that role, and he is absolutely sensational at it. Edison clears. City win the second ball with Dias. Gundogan, now Rodri. Plenty of options to his right-hand side. As Stuart was saying, Camavinga's defending quite narrow, so there's always space on the City right. And Bernardo's got Walker ahead of him. He's played him in before he's offside, and they get another corner.
I say that right-hand side for City, they can play down there at will. They've tucked in Madrid, decided to play fairly narrow, certainly on that left-hand side. And whether it be Walker, whether it be Bernardo, whether it be De Bruyne gravitating out there, or even John Stones foraging in that area, they're getting overloads and they're getting comfortably into the final third.
Kevin De Bruyne to take this latest corner. It's Manchester City's fourth, right-footed, away swinger to the penalty spots, the worst of the four so far. Modric can head it away. Finds Walker on the edge of the centre circle. And then Walker plays it for Bernardo Silva, who will cut inside into space, and then he's gone backwards of square. Finding Walker inside the centre circle. Dias then will play it forward again. And now comes back for Walker in his white boots once more. Almost midway through the first half of the first leg of the Champions League semi-final on Talksport. Winners of this one play either Milan or Inter in the final in Istanbul on June the 10th. That game will be live on Talksport, and we'll find out together who will be making it through from that side of the draw. First leg of that semi-final is live with Sam Matterface tomorrow night here on Talksport this time tomorrow. Stones in the midfield, just letting Rodri play the pass. Rodri bringing it forward again to Stones once more. Stones controlling it with his right foot, flicking it with his left, past Vinicius. The Real have had a real chasing so far in the opening 22 minutes. City making the ball do the work, and if it was 100 passes a goal, they're already through to the final.
I think as well, Jim, the fans here are absolutely rocked to the core with the dominance that Manchester City are showing, you know, and they've just got to hopefully try and hit the back of the net, as you rightly say.
Walker, 15 yards outside the penalty area, getting a return ball. Haaland waits by the penalty spot. Rudiger's keeping an eye on it. City trying to get themselves into a position where they can supply a potent pass or a devastating cross. Stones still making his way forward. Now to De Bruyne. De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva trying to take it on. Modric just got in there to knock it away. Boos and whistles from the Real Madrid fans in this face of overwhelming Manchester City possession, just trying to do a little bit of defending for their side, just trying to do something to disrupt this constant flow of the game. Manchester City have been playing champagne football here. They just can't quite get the cork out the bottle at the moment.
No, and the beauty of it is, because they've been foraging down their right, Madrid's left, it's forcing Vinicius Junior back on occasion, and the further away he is from the City goal, the better it is for them.
Now a Real Madrid attack as Rodrigo brings it forward. And he gets to within 10 yards of the edge of the City box, goes back for Toni Kroos, the long-legged, blonde-haired German, firing inside the penalty area, and some unorthodox but very effective defending from Walker, who got down on his knees to chest the ball back to Ederson from that misdirected cross. And Ederson will let the ball run towards the penalty spot before picking it up.
I think in years gone by, Jim, you would always have a concern about Cole Walker's defensive prowess, but if the opposition have got a flying winger, he is almost the go-to fullback, isn't he, to deal with him. You know, we saw that for England in the World Cup, certainly seeing it again so far tonight.
Yeah, it's an invidious task for him tonight, playing up against Vinicius. As Real Madrid win the ball back from the rear, Manchester City mistake. Oh, it's a brilliant block right in front of the goalkeeper by Diaz, because Benzema peeled away towards the far post and would have had a tap in. Diaz on the slide, got his foot to it, took the pace off the ball, and the City defenders around him could do the rest.
One mistake, short pass there from Rodri, and all of a sudden it was that man Vinicius in behind, whipped it across the face of the goal. And I've got to say, that is a magnificent interception by Diaz there. It's so easy to get that wrong and just pop it in the back of your own net. Fantastic.
He went past his goalkeeper, who came out trying to get his left hand to it to block it on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Diaz slid in and just took the pace off the cross. It was absolutely vital that a City player got there first, but they did. Had he missed it, Benzema would have had a tap-in. And for all of the Manchester City dominance through the opening 25 minutes, they would have found themselves a goal down. Just going back to that point you were making about Walker. When Real Madrid haven't had as much possession in this game, you still have to be alive to the threat of Vinicius on the counter-attack. You've got to get your starting position right, as Grealish is brought down on the edge of his own penalty area. But he does such a good job in the World Cup playing against Kylian Mbappe in a similar sort of role in that France-England game.
Yeah, as I say, absolutely magnificent. You can assign him to someone, and he's got the sheer pace to deal with things. And what City have got to be careful of, if they're going to get beat tonight, by the looks of the way the game's panning out, it's counter-attack or it's a careless pass playing in their own third.
Oh, they've brilliantly got through the press there. It was Akanji that really made it. Grealish is then brought down by Carvajal, and the referee will give a free kick City's way on halfway. And still, even though you know that they're in complete control, it's still heart-in-mouth moments nearly every pass inside that penalty area when City playing through the press. But they got the angles right. Akanji made the run, stepped up, played it in. 5 Real Madrid players taken out. And then Carvajal has to make a tactical foul.
Indeed. I'd like to see Grealish just receive the ball now. Carvalho's made 2 rash challenges on him. Next time he receives it, run straight at him, make a beeline for the goal and take him on and start asking questions, of the referee and Carvajal, because I think his body language is suggesting to me he's not relishing playing against Grealish.
Yeah, he was sent off against Sociedad recently. He's had 8 yellows and a red. Red card coming in Real Madrid's last game, last league game, I beg your pardon. They have lost 2 of their last 3 league games. Beaten away to Girona, beaten away at Sociedad, so it's 2 away defeats on the bounce, which is an ominous statistic going into the second leg of this one next week. They've got a Madrid derby against Getafe between now and then. And Manchester City in action away at Everton on Sunday before the second leg, which, as I mentioned earlier, is live for you on Talksport. With Stuart alongside me and Adrian a week tomorrow. Ilkay Gundogan trying to bring it forward. He's blocked off by Rudiger. Haaland chased. City have a player down injured still. Gundogan, the referee has been told that it's a head injury and now stops play. That stops a Real Madrid counter-attack. Ilkay Gundogan is down holding his head. The Manchester City captain is going to need some treatment here, and players from both sides just having a word with the referee. Real not happy that play got stopped, and City not happy at the challenge that came in on him in the first place. We're just seeing a replay of it now, and Rudiger, who's got form, remember that one against Kevin De Bruyne in the final a couple of years ago, and he just stood firm and leant with his right shoulder into the face and cheek of Ilkay Gundogan.
Yeah, I think in the days of World of Sport when the wrestling was on, that was known as a forearm smash. But to be quite honest with you, I don't think the referee can act on it. Because it was Rudiger, you would say, it was intentional. Any other player, you'd have probably looked at it and say a simple clash. I think Real Madrid were grumpy because they had a series of 4 passes, which was their most in this first half. City were disappointed that they felt as though this was an intentional way of sorting a player out, and potentially it was.
Yeah, that's naughty. I mean, you're absolutely right. Every challenge has to be judged on its merits and not on the perpetrator and whatever he's done in the past. But you know that is part of Rudiger's MO. Kevin De Bruyne certainly knows that is part of Rudiger's MO, and so does Pep. And Gundogan still isn't back on his feet yet. They've got to make sure that the concussion protocol is just being adhered to, and hopefully that's what this is part of, rather than a lengthy delay in him getting back to his feet. It does give me the chance to remind you what's coming up on the Talksport network, though, with much more live sport coming your way across the network this week. We will be the home of the EFL Playoffs exclusive national radio commentary of all 15 matches, including all 3 finals at the end of May. We're concentrating on Europe this week. It's Milan against Inter tomorrow with Sam Matterface and Danny Mills from 8 o'clock on Talksport. Thursday night, West Ham in the semi-final first leg of their Europa Conference League tie with the Dutch side AZ. And join us at the Olympic Stadium for that one. Thursday night, build up at 7 ahead of an 8 o'clock kickoff. Friday, we're into the playoffs. It's Peterborough-Sheffield Wednesday, League One playoff semi-final first leg. And that's an 8 o'clock kickoff over on Talksport 2. And then Saturday, the Premier League returns. Leeds-Newcastle. Massive implications at both ends of the table. And Stuart is alongside Sam for that. And Reshman in the chair. Game Day Live starts at 11 Saturday, 12:30 kickoff from 3. It's Villa against Spurs, and more playoff action on Saturday as well. Bolton Barnsley, Sunderland Luton, and Salford Stockport, all over on Talksport 2, kicking off at 3, 5:30 and 7:45 respectively. Tonight we played half an hour. Gundogan's okay. He's asking for permission to come back on the field. The play has restarted, and now he can come back on. Getting boos and whistles from the Real Madrid supporters as he comes back onto the field. Could to see him back. Grealish is just putting it away. Rare mistake from him. Fired high inside the penalty area from the Real Madrid right. Rodrigo's ball just a little bit too high for Vinicius. And Walker has the ball at his feet, and he's got time to survey his options, and he's planted it upfield some 60, 70 yards. But Stuart, we're 31 minutes in, and if I'd said to you on the way over today that 31 minutes in, it would be 74% possession for Manchester City, 6 shots without reply and 4 on target, that you and everybody else would have been amazed. But that is how it's transpired so far.
I think the only, well, this is, they've grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. The only thing that you worry about is the fact that Madrid could sweep up the pitch and get a goal from absolutely nothing, and that's always in the back of your mind. Grealish for Gundogan.
Under the semi-finals last year, there were 3 separate occasions where Manchester City had a 2-goal advantage on aggregate, and they didn't go through. This one have been much the better team, but they don't have any advantage as yet, except for having knocked 30 minutes of time from the away leg off the clock. Diaz trying to make his way all the way forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Real have won it back. Now Benzema goes out towards Camavinga. City have got to get the bodies back quickly. Walker's dropped into Diaz's position right at the heart of the defence. Benzema, Camavinga, left-hand side of the penalty area, and has he won the corner? He has. The first that Real Madrid have won. Camavinga right with the ball on the byline, flicking it into Walker, and over the line for a corner. We're just seeing a replay of it, and yes, the decision is the correct one.
I'm wondering, Jim, whether City, at the moment, City have been the one to keep taking the game to Madrid.
The corner is taken short, edge of the penalty area, Modric. Modric's left-footed ball inside the penalty area is well headed away by Walker, and City clear their lines.
They've been the one to take in the game to Madrid. They've dominated the game. I wonder whether City come to a stage where they say, you know what, we're not taking the game to you, we're just going to keep it here, and you've got to come out and go and chase the ball. We're happy taking a draw in this game,
and that is often, maybe not often, sometimes the way that City do approach the big games away from home, where they will have the possession, but it is in areas much deeper than where we've seen them have the ball today. String the passes together and try and frustrate the opposition. This hasn't been an exercise in trying to frustrate Real Madrid. This has been an exercise in going for the throat. Modric, fall for Carvajal. Now Kroos can bring it forward. Valverde making good ground down the right. High ball in. Benzema chesting it down. Can he get a shot in? Pull back towards the edge of the penalty area. And the referee spots an infringement. A handball by Benzema as he tried to control it and turn and find a teammate. Free kick to City.
I'll tell you what an intriguing game this is. The away team dominating the ball, dominating efforts at goal, and once every 5 minutes Real Madrid coming after you on the turnover and saying, you know what, we are magnificent on the counter-attack, and it's finely balanced.
They don't have an impregnable home record in Europe. Real Madrid have lost 6 of their last 23 home games in continental football. Diaz looking too long for Grealish that time, and out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Real Madrid right.
Tell you what I'd like to see a bit more. Grealish, he's received the ball on many occasions. I'd like to see him just take the full-back on, really go after him. I think they've done it quite well on the right-hand side and getting numbers on the overload.
Now Real Madrid can play through the press and do so quite brilliantly with Camavinga. Camavinga driving forward to his left-hand side is Vinicius. Right-footed effort, blasted into the net. And Manchester City have had all of this possession and chances, but one counter-attack has been devastating, and it is first blood to Real Madrid. Camavinga made it. Vinicius finished it with an extraordinary shot that almost took the net off its mountings. And for all of City's dominance, they trail the 14-time European champions, and it's Vinicius 1-0.
I'll tell you what, brilliant. Once again, they've swept out from that left-back position with Camavinga. He's played a 1-2 past Bernardo Silva, rolled it inside, and well, with very little I don't know how much backlift. It looks as though he was stretching for the ball almost. He's hit it and it's flashed past the goalkeeper before Ederson could even move, to be quite honest with you. And football never fails to amaze you, does it, Jim? City been brilliant for 35 minutes, but in the last 30 seconds the dagger blow has been delivered, and City have got to make sure at this stage they do not lose their head. They've got 2 games to get through to a final.
It is their first shot. It's taken 36 minutes, but it flew past Ederson. And the Bernabeu, already in a state of cacophony, sees the volume go up even more. Scarves being waved around the heads in the familiar Real Madrid celebration. Home side lead by a goal to nil. Walker will make his way forward. As you say, so much football still to come. Still 2.5 hours, more than 2.5 hours worth of football in this tie yet. Kroos losing out. Modric is able to pick it up. Manchester City have hardly trailed this season in the Premier League. They've only been behind 6 times in league games. They've only got 1-0 down in 6 games. They've come back to win half of them. But not many of them against opposition of the quality of Real Madrid. And it's a free kick to Ancelotti's man about 10-15 yards inside the City half. 7 at half time on Talksport. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0. Very much against the run of play.
It's interesting to get a tilt on the psychological side of football. One team have been absolutely dominated and shaken to the core, then all of a sudden they've scored a goal. It's given them a massive lift now, and it's City that have got to be mentally strong.
And Bernardo Silva's lost it. Benzema picked his pocket. Walker, though, blocked the cross inside the penalty area and clears. And as you say, this really is an exercise in mental fortitude as far as City are concerned. Be forgiven after what happened here last season for it going through a few heads. Oh no, not again. But number 5 of the City players today, half of the outfield team didn't start in that game. Maybe not quite as badly scarred as some of the others as a result of that. And if they were to lose 1-0 tonight, they would still fancy their chances of being able to overturn it in 8 days' time live on Talksport. Rodri emerging from the centre circle in possession. Nutmegs from the referee. Gets the ball back from Gundogan. Now Akanji inside his own half, and Diaz will play it forward. Haaland had that header which was saved by Thibaut Courtois. They haven't really been able to create too much for him other than that. Well, we'll work it forward again. Ederson takes control of the situation for City. Good early shout to Stones, and he comes out to the edge of his penalty area, puts his hands down, picks up the ball, bowls it out quickly for Akanji. Akanji to Rodri. Now Jack Grealish. Real Madrid leading 1-0, finishes on 36 minutes, and has scored the winner in the final last season with yet another significant Champions League goal. Stones for City certainly deserve to be ahead rather than behind. In central position, he's 20 yards outside the penalty area. Stones bypassing Modric, finds Walker. Back he goes for Walker again. City slow it down for a moment. Real, with this tight defensive shape, which as Stu's been saying, has been very narrow out of possession. City, as a result of that, trying to utilise the width as best they can, and Grealish will never move too far away from the near touchline. Picks up possession here and goes back inside the centre circle for Diaz. Forward from Diaz into the feet of Stones. Diaz again inside the centre circle. Stones on the half turn. Rodri, who's a veteran of 4 Madrid derbies in his Atletico days. The ball is played out towards the far touchline where Camavinga has fouled Bernardo Silva. Free kick taken from the wrong place. Quickly, Silva back for Stones. Now towards Rodri. Rodri back for Stones again. Stones 30 yards out. Not really in a shooting position though, right of centre. Akanji's brought into it. Akanji Shuffles forward towards the edge of the box. De Bruyne gets it in past Carvajal. It's too high for Haaland. They just had Courtois scrambling for a moment across his line. Bernardo Silva keeps it alive for City. It's got Walker in conjunction with him. There's no doubt the City's worst 5 minutes of the game have been the 5 since they conceded the goal, but they're just beginning to string the passes together again now. Into a good position, Gundogan, he's onside. Oh, across the face of the 6-yard box. Silva and Grealish couldn't get there. Back from De Bruyne. He hooks it in, it hits Valverde and goes out for a Manchester City corner. 1-0 Real Madrid.
Yeah, good set-up there. Cole Walker just lost the ball, lost his way a little bit on the touchline, and Bernardo Silva just helped him out, tidied up the situation, and all of a sudden, ball flashing across the face of the goal.
Corner to be taken on the City left. It's their 5th. In towards the edge of the 6-yard box, which the referee's seen there. Bit of pushing and shoving going on. Free kick to Real Madrid. That goal for Vinicius, 7th of the season in the Champions League. He's had 6 assists as well, so that means that he's now had more goal contributions than any other player in the competition this season. One ahead of Erling Haaland, who's got 12 goals and is way out ahead of the rest. He's 4 clear of any other player in the competition this season. It's the City side unbeaten in 20. The last failure to score in that last defeat, which came to Harry Kane's record-breaking goal at Tottenham back in February. City have scored 60 in the 20 games they've played since then. In need of something here, trailing 1-0 with 2 minutes to go to half-time. But any match of high betting, sometimes it can disappoint you. Champions League ties, to be fair, very rarely do these days. This one certainly hasn't in terms of the quality of football. The spectacle has been brilliant.
Yeah, it's intriguing, and to see 2 teams with varying different styles. One totally possession-based, and the other one with hardly any possession of the ball, surviving off of scraps of counter-attack, and they are the ones that have got their nose in front. And on what I've seen at the moment, Jim, I'm not sure I'd like City to come home with a deficit, to be honest with you, because I think they've demonstrated already, Madrid, that they are a very, very effective side on the counter-attack.
Yeah, if City are in a position where they have to go for the throat again, and needs must, Real are very adept at making that work in their favour. Courtois played the ball forward here, and it's gone out of play past Carvajal for a throw that will be taken on the City left. It's going to take some decoding, this game. I look forward to listening to Laura Woods and Rangers legend Ali McCoy's doing exactly that tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. with Gabby Agbonlahor joining them from 8. And if you fancy something different on your morning commute tomorrow morning, don't forget the Chris Evans Breakfast Show. Wonderful way to start your day on Virgin Radio from 6:30 tomorrow morning. You can listen to Virgin Radio on DAB or download the app. That's a sore one for Grealish, and an angry reaction from him as well as the ball was played towards the dead ball line, and Carvajal was trying to shepherd it over the line and out of play, and Grealish ended up in the hoardings, and then there was a reaction from him, and now Carvajal is down in front of those same hoardings and he's writhing in pain with his right hand clutching his left wrist. It was certainly naughty from Carvajal. He shoved Grealish straight into the hoardings. There's no runoff, and those hoardings ferociously hard. That's a poor challenge. Grealish going down, holding his face. Carvajal leaning over him. There's a reaction, and Carvajal's reaction on the back of Grealish getting back to his feet is shameful.
It certainly is, but at this standard, at this level of football, you're looking for an advantage with the opposition, and what you can't do, what Carvajal done was really, really poor. It was a woeful challenge on Grealish, to be fair, to put him into the holdings, but then again, Grealish looked at the end of the exchange the more of the aggressor, and what he's got to do now, Grealish, is get the ball, get it on the half turn and start running at him. That's his best line of duty, not getting involved with pushing and shoving. Get turned and go after him and start asking questions of him.
And the referee, who has done everything he can to keep his cards in his pocket so far, has got to police the situation effectively, because Carvajal for persistent infringement, if for nothing else. It's got to be really close to a yellow card. Grealish is making that point to Arthur Diaz right now, and the Portuguese referee is pointed to his eyes and then his temple and saying, look, I'm watching, I know what's going on. But it's just been foul after foul.
But sadly, Jim, the referees don't know what's going on. You see it time and time again. They just see players launch themselves to the floor and have got no idea who the aggressor is, who the play actor is, and that is the big problem you've got. If you're a City player, you've got to be cleaner than clean out there.
We're in 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0. 30 seconds or so of play before the break. City with a throw on their right flank. And Rodri will play back towards Walker. Good turn in the midfield from Gundogan, and then he's had his legs taken from underneath him. And that's a free kick, and that will be a yellow card for Toni Kroos. It's a poor challenge.
Yeah, it certainly is. He launched himself into the challenge, quite reckless to be quite honest with you, and as they do, Toni Kroos lying on the floor nursing his head, but certainly Gundogan's come out the worst of this one. Great skill by him actually to get out of a really tight situation on 2 occasions. That is a horrendous challenge, by the way. Well, that is a sending off challenge, to be quite honest with you. Cynical. He could have done himself damage as well as the City player. Once again, Jim, referees do not know what a poor challenge is, I don't think, this day and age.
And the VAR, Daniele Orsa, the VAR, Massimiliano Irati, I beg your pardon, I'm surprised he hasn't looked at that. There's no indication that a check is ongoing. Free kick is taken now. Goalkeeper's come out, got himself stranded. In the end, got his fingers to it to flick it away. And a play for a throw there's no time to take. The Real Madrid lead at half-time by a goal to nil. But the referee needs to take control of this. And that was a shocking challenge from Kroos, as you mentioned. Pep Guardiola is just saying to the assistant referee, Paulo Suarez, as they leave the field, that the officials aren't doing their job properly. There's quite vehement, heated conversation going on. The challenge from Kroos, as Gundogan, his long-time international teammate in the heart of the German midfield, got past him, and he came in and scissor-kicked him, really, just above the right thigh. He got a yellow. He was lucky it wasn't worse. Carvajal's extremely fortunate he's not in the book. And Real Madrid, for all their counter-attacking brilliance, are fortunate they have the lead. City have been brilliant, everything but the goal. They trail to Vinicius' strike on 36. It's 1-0. Adrian, thank you. There are no changes in personnel at this stage. Just the one player in the book so far, Toni Kroos. Real Madrid in all white will kick from right to left in this second half. Manchester City in their red and black diagonal striped shirts, black shorts, kicking from left to right towards the end of the ground that houses the section of travelling Mancunians. We'll be pleased with many facets of the performance so far. I don't think they'll be very pleased with the referee's performance, and they'll be bemoaning the fact that Real Madrid have this counter-attacking brilliance. We've seen it from Vinicius again. It's only taken one shot in that first half for Real Madrid to have the advantage. Back underway. The sides lining up like this. Real, Courtois in goal, Carvajal, Rudiger, Alaba and Camavinga. Valverde, Kroos and Modric. Rodrigo, Benzema and Vinicius. City, Ederson in goal. Walker, Stones, Diaz and Akanji, but Stones frequently striding forward into midfield. Rodri, then De Bruyne and Gundogan ahead of him. Bernardo Silva and Grealish wide, and Haaland through the middle. City bring it forward. Rodri to Kevin De Bruyne near the corner of the penalty area, and just threatens to give Camavinga the opportunity to get it away, and then flicked it past him at the last moment. Stones will go out to the Manchester City left for Grealish. Grealish now back towards Akanji, and Diaz has it for City.
Yeah, just looking at that inverted winger in Grealish, just received the ball there. It ends up being a winger coming back to front him up. Now that should be a written invitation to get turned and run at him, you know, and I'd just like to see him just go past him at times, or at least turn him round if humanly possible.
Gundogan plays the ball down the left-hand side of the box, looking for Grealish's run, and it's side-footed out for a corner. First of the second half goes to City. The Real Madrid's defensive record over the recent past in Champions League knockout matches has not been good. They've only kept 4 clean sheets in the last 25 matches in the Champions League knockout stages, but 3 of those are coming in a row. Haven't conceded now for 6.5 hours of Champions League football since Mo Salah scored against them at Anfield. This corner worked short. It was a poor delivery when it eventually came in from De Bruyne, straight into the midriff of his international teammate Thibaut Courtois. 2 gone second half on Talksport. 1-0 Real Madrid.
Yeah, be interesting to see how the pattern of this second half settles down a little bit, and really the mentality of City as well, whether, you know, if the game goes into the late 70s, 80th minute, whether they're happy with this 1-0 deficit, or whether in Pep style they'll go chasing the game that little bit more.
Valverde, beautiful ball pinged wide out to the right-hand side, back towards Toni Kroos. We talked about the infringements in the first half that went unpunished, and one of those also by a Manchester City player, Bernardo Silva, catching the back of the fire Camavinga. That went unpunished, and should also have warranted a card. Is Luka Modric. Modric clipping it past Camavinga and out of play for the throw. Got to be taken on the Manchester City right-hand side. This is the third time these two have met in the semi-finals. Real have progressed both times in the past. City did beat Real in the round of 16, both home and away, 3 seasons ago. Semis back in 2016 was a Fernando own goal here that did the damage, the only goal over the 2 legs. And of course it was 6-5 in Real's favour when they met last year, and that never to be forgotten Champions League semi-final, one of the best the competition has ever seen. This one's shaping up nicely. In terms of a spectacle, it's been brilliant, so intriguing. 4 gone second half of the first leg. 1-0 Real Madrid. And as Adrian brilliantly put it, vicious from Vinicius. Here's Valverde. Towards the edge of the centre circle. You win awards for that stuff, you know. The ball goes out to the...
I've seen the trophy, my friend.
Real have it. It goes back towards Toni Kroos. And Kroos towards the edge of the centre circle for Alaba. Now Modric. Modric just waiting for Bernardo Silva to engage. City haven't been able to get him into the game as much after a superb opening 20 minutes for him. Benzema now, Camavinga, clever flick from him, the goal scorer Vinicius. Benzema back again. And he's coming off the left flank, another divine touch. Flick forward towards the edge of the area, Benzema will take it on, left-footed rising effort, just cleared the junction of post and bar.
Now I think John Stones has got a touch on that, slid across, last gasp effort trying to block the shot, but once again, difference there between probably Grealish and Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior playing interaction, driving straight at the goal, with 1-2s, asking questions of the back line and managing to free Benzema up for an effort. Well done, John Stones.
Sorry, Stu, this is Real Madrid's second corner, the first of the second half. And out comes Edison, he's punched it clear. He's got it outside the penalty area, but Kroos is going to get there first. Now Benzema with an opportunity to deliver. A play back by him on the edge of the box. Rodrigo, the Kroos again. Modric. Bottom left-hand corner of the penalty area, Vinicius trying to beat his man, checks back inside and still tries to find a way through, but it's a foul on Rodri. No crowd didn't like that. Free kick to Manchester City. 6 gone second half. 1-0 they trail.
Clever defending there by Rodri. Kept his eye on the ball. Low carriage. Just got enough of his arms around Vinicius Junior to stop him getting away from him, and then managed to just go down on the ball, seen by the referee as a free kick.
City have only failed to win one of their last 16 games. Run that goes back to late February. That was away at Bayern. A 1-1 draw that night after the damage had been done in the homeland. And the The home leg of this one to come a week tomorrow is live on Talksport. And the other Champions League semi-final takes place tomorrow, the first leg of that. Here's Kevin De Bruyne. It might be offside here. It's gone for goal. And it's smuggled away. And still the offside flag doesn't come out. Oh, now it does. And it's a free kick which will be taken by Real for the offside. You sense it straight away that De Bruyne has stolen a yard.
I'm at a loss, actually. I'd love to explain to people on there. I've seen it. The linesman thought it was offside straight away. He let play go on, let the cross come in, let the clearance happen, and then signals, and then the next minute you'll see an even tighter one get pulled up straight away. I really don't understand.
Camavinga, midway inside his own half for Real Madrid. Have a little bit more possession in the second half than they had in the first. The City at one stage had 3/4 of the ball. Rodri, back through the centre circle. John Stones will come onto it. Dispatch it to his left-hand side for Akanji. We're 7 minutes into the second half. Grealish chasing here. Rudiger coming across to cover his run. Plays it out towards Dani Carvajal, who's been a lot more circumspect in the second half so far. Courtois clears it, shanks it clear. Pep on the edge of the technical area. Controls it, kills it, passes it to Walker, who takes a quick throw. He looks for Haaland inside the area. But Real Madrid again in a position to be able to mop things up with Kroos and Camavinga, who's having a good game. And they find the goalkeeper, and Courtois will play out from the back. Nodded down towards Karim Benzema. Rodrigo will take over inside the centre circle. Riding a challenge, referee plays the advantage. Vinicius taking it on, and he then lent into Rodri. And the free kick has been given Real Madrid's way. Rodri made no attempt to try and move out of the way, and he might have been fortunate a couple of minutes ago to get a free kick. Go his way, might be a little bit unfortunate to have one go against him there.
Yeah, I think that free kick was the sum total of a challenge on Rodrigo across the pitch, and you and I know, Jim, what tends to happen is the referee will blow for a free kick further down the line, which actually isn't one.
City have got possession back from that free kick, and Grealish has done really well. Gundogan with a nice turn as well. Positioning of the referee did him no favours, but Duarte couldn't get out of the way. Not his fault, but City still have it. Rodri bringing it forward. Now it's laid back out towards the Manchester City left. Grealish coming back in. Rodri letting it run. De Bruyne taking over edge of the D. Left-footed shot, and Courtois gets down and again can save quite comfortably.
Yeah, better movement there, as I say, work the ball wide and in the end expose the edge of the box with a clever dummy by Rodri. And to be fair, but the shot was reasonable, but never going to trouble the cap.
Well, your reaction, of course, will be welcome and essential on the sports bar. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy open the sports bar later. 03717 223344 is the number. Manchester City fans, what have you made of this performance? What have you made of the refereeing performance tonight? Boys, I want to hear from you. 03717 223344. Play for now. Haaland inside the area. Long-ranging stride. Couldn't quite get into position to get a shot in. It's really well blocked by Alaba. It's the first time that Manchester City have played a potent pass into him inside the box. Alaba did really well to deal with it. It's a corner.
Yeah, you're right. As I say, just mentioning with Aid at half-time, I don't think I've seen City play the ball behind Real Madrid's back line and make it a foot race. On that occasion they did, and I've got to say Alaba made it a wonderful block.
Kevin De Bruyne will take the corner. He's played it to the corner of the box. Gets it back from Bernardo Silva. In deep, too deep for Akanji. He made the run at the far post. Was well marshalled anyway by Kroos. And it's out of play for a goal kick. Going to be taken by Courtois. 10 minutes gone in the second half. You're listening to the Champions League. It's live on Talksport with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest. Rudiger. Veteran 200 Chelsea appearances, including a Champions League final victory against City. Played forward by him. Benzema trying to bulldoze his way through. Ran into a red and black brick wall. Crowd begging the referee to find in their favour. He lets it go. Bernardo Silva. Walker made a run past him. Bernardo Silva checked back inside instead. He'd missed the opportunity to play in the sprightly Walker, who would have been offside. Walker does have it now, having retreated back the right side of Modric. Now De Bruyne, almost perfect. A lovely ball down the inside right channel, but Camavinga stretched to read it. And Modric is going to be able to bring it away from inside his own penalty area. And he fires it out towards the Real Madrid right, where a cushioned layoff from Rodrigo is inch perfect for Rudiger. Rudiger back to his goalkeeper. De Bruyne goes across to put the pressure on. Courtois can get it away and chip it over the top of Gundogan to be able to play in Valverde. The Uruguayan exchanges passes with Rodrigo, and now they go back for Courtois, and they're managing their possession much more effectively in the second half rather than they did in the first.
Yeah, the only criticism I would have of City is I think they've gone through the thirds when they've had the opportunity. Madrid have been sort of slightly unhinged. They've not gone through the thirds of the pitch quickly enough, I don't think, and certainly Real Madrid have shown they can.
And they do so again here with Vinicius. Carvajal coming onto it, in support on the right-hand side of the penalty area. It's pulled back towards Rodrigo. Rodrigo takes it on inside the box. City defending mop-handedly, and when it comes in, it hits Stones and bobbles away out of play for a corner. He's very grateful that hit him and went wide rather than crept into the bottom left-hand corner, where Edison might not quite have got there. It is a corner. Taken quickly again. Short for Kroos. Kroos doesn't cross it, finds Benzema instead. Modric from 30 yards didn't pull the trigger when it looked as though he would. It's played in Rodrigo instead. He does, and that's taken a little nick on its way through out for another corner.
I wonder what, the longer this game goes on, whether Pep, if he's looking to try and get on it level terms or better, whether he looks to make changes in these wide areas. That for me is the area when the team plays so narrow and so compact, you've got to go outside it.
So what do you say, Foden for Silva? Is that what you think?
Foden and Mahrez are the two that sort of will offer you something slightly different. I don't think Foden actually offers you a winger type of a player. He's like for like almost.
Corner is taken, short work back in. It was a right-footed effort from the edge of the penalty area that falls Vinicius' way, and then a handball shout is survived by City, rightly so. It's another corner. But the first shot that came in from the edge of the penalty area, the defending was actually done by a Real Madrid player. One of them struck it straight into another. They'll have another corner. It's 1-0, just a minute short of the hour mark. Real Madrid lead courtesy of Vinicius' strike on the counter-attack, a brilliant one on 36 minutes. In comes the corner, towards the edge of the penalty area again. The force from Valverde, rising drive clears the bar.
Yeah, well worked corner there, just pulled it to the edge of the box. Good first touch by Valverde, and then with the pressure coming, he's just got under it and skied it.
Modric, back for Camavinga. Second half feels very different, Stuart Pearce, to the first.
It does. There's a level of confidence that's come over the Madrid players now. They look much better with the ball at their feet. They're dominating play a little bit more and asking more questions.
Well, another free kick has been given Real's way. Foul by Rodri on Camavinga. He knew exactly what he was doing there, just to break up the play. Real not happy.
One thing, he's been consistent, the referee, hasn't he, Jim? He's not brandished yellow cards and then not for worse decisions. He's been pretty consistent with his lack of yellow.
Yeah, he's only produced the one yellow card, and he shouldn't have produced one then. Should have been a red. So foul by Kroos on Gundogan. Very close to being a red anyway. I'm still surprised the VAR didn't want to have a much longer look at the incident. Half an hour to go in this first leg. Live in central Spain tonight here on Talksport. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0. Alaba goes long. In this competition with Bayern as well as with Real Madrid. Vinicius has it now. Vinicius in towards Benzema on the edge of the penalty area. Rodrigo takes over. Good quick feet from him. Benzema's got a tight angle. He's got plenty in red and black back. Then as he tries to pull the ball back, it's another handball shout. And again, the referee says no. It's Valverde trying to get himself into a shooting position. Grealish was the covering defender. Arta, well placed, no penalty.
Yeah, it looked a good recovery run by Grealish. Not a handball for me on what I'm seeing. But the one thing we are seeing, Jim, is Madrid are looking as though they've got more cutting edge. They go through the gears quicker when they're advancing at people, and I think City have got to learn a slight lesson from them and do the same at the other end of the pitch.
Karim Benzema on the edge of the penalty area for Real Madrid. This is a really good passage of play from them. They've had a good 7-8 minutes now. Manchester City withstand that latest attack, and Bernardo Silva, never one to be phased in possession with players coming in from either side of him, did well to turn away from Benzema. Crossfield ball from City had to be rescued by Akanji before it ran out of play for a throw. He did rescue it, but it's got a little bit fragile in the midfield at times for Manchester City now, and some misplaced passes. Haven't played nearly as well in the second half as they did in the first. Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan to his left-hand side for De Bruyne. De Bruyne's got Grealish to his left. He's hooked it inside the penalty area instead. Haaland was in the middle. Bernardo Silva made that far post run, and he missed them both. Goal kick, 63 gone, and Manchester City trail in this first leg 1-0.
Yeah, I think if I was looking to force the game a little bit and I was City, it changes the dynamic of the way you play a little bit, but I'm thinking someone like Mahrez on instead of Bernardo Silva. The amount of ball that's being received in this area of the pitch is quite high, but not much has come of it in regard to sort of going past white fullbacks and delivering into the box.
Well, you take Bernardo off, you wouldn't take Gundogan off and perhaps move Bernardo back inside to bring Mahrez on.
That might well be an option that you make, but certainly more of a winger type, if you like, someone's going to run at a defender and really put them on the back foot.
Grealish receiving the ball on the Manchester City left-hand side, back to the direction of play, and then he lost out, gets another touch to try and win it back, then tries to make a challenge. Diaz did make the challenge, it goes out of play for another corner. Now it's City's turn to not be able to get out.
Well, the last 30 seconds or so showed exactly what I'm talking about. Grealish receives the ball with his back to play, can't get turned in any way, shape or form. The ball bounces straight to Rodrigo, he picks it up and he's dynamically running at the opposition.
In comes the corner from the Real Madrid right, deep towards the far post, headed back towards the penalty spot, cleared by City. Break could be on here. De Bruyne scampering forward down the left-hand side. Bernardo Silva couldn't find him. And Real Madrid get it back with Modric. Modric firing it out towards the Real Madrid right-hand side, and then getting a great return ball there from Camavinga. Played back in. It's Rodrigo inside the penalty area. City had to make sure they didn't dive in and make a challenge. Camavinga gets it now. Danger. Benzema, left-footed shot, blocked almost at source by John Stones, who saw the ball ricochet off him into relative safety. Now Vinicius will come again, rides a challenge to Bernardo Silva, plays it inside the penalty area. The way Ederson scrambled after that kind of betrays the fact it took a deflection, but the ref didn't see it and he's given a goal kick.
Yeah, they want handball, Jim. That's what they're looking for, whether it be in the box or out the box. But you've got to say, once again, brilliant wing play. Receives the ball. What does he do? He's received it on the half turn, swivels round the corner, and all of a sudden when you face the opposition's goal, you've got a problem. He's flicked at it and he's claiming John Stones got a hand on it.
Well, John Stones did get a hand on it, but not deliberately. The ball has hit his hand. His hand is pretty much touching his rib cage. What's he supposed to do? Cut his hand off just in the milliseconds before the ball gets there. There's no way that could be given. Bernardo Silva finding Stones. 20 minutes gone in this second half. Manchester City trailing 1-0. Kevin De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side of the box. Clever backheel flick from him, and then De Bruyne caught Kroos late, and the referee says no foul. And play goes on with a throw. I thought that was a definite foul on Kroos. Kevin De Bruyne making a genuine attempt to go for the ball, missed it. The referee says play on with a throw.
Brilliant refereeing. Just watch the replay there. Kroos has thrown himself into the challenge and launched himself with no contact whatsoever.
I'll take it back. Grealish. Rodri. Bring it forward, right-footed effort from him. That was really well blocked by Modric, as if his life depended on it. Benzema can pick up the loose ball in the heart of the midfield. Camavinga down on the left-hand touchline, trying to find a way past Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne found a pocket of space. City work it forward. Bernardo Silva's brilliantly kept it in on the slide, and now City can get it forward towards De Bruyne. De Bruyne level the edge of the penalty area. Driven cross that hits Modric and bounces Camavinga's way. Rodri read the ball out more quickly than Rodrigo. Wins it back, finds Grealish. Grealish to Gundogan, try to turn. Haaland peels away inside the box. De Bruyne! 1-1! Magnificent strike from Kevin De Bruyne, and Manchester City are back on level terms midway through the second half. He scored the winner here in 2020, and that's a goal that does so much for Manchester City's treble chance. Back on level terms in a second half in which they haven't played as well as Real Madrid, but against the run of play they found the equaliser. It's Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 1, and one of Kevin De Bruyne's best.
Once a really loose ball there from Camavinga, and from that moment on City were on the front foot. Good interchange of play, and De Bruyne got a brilliant shot. Goalkeeper no chance, almost from the same position as Madrid's goal, but he's just unloaded it, kept it really low. Brilliant strike of the ball, and a similar pattern to the first half. All City, Madrid score, and then all Madrid and City score.
Well, Real are far from happy. Can't have any complaints about the immediate phase of play, I don't think, in which the goal was scored, but they had thought, remember, that prior to everything that was going on, it should have been a free kick. It wasn't given. That Manchester City, from the next couple of phases of play, do score, and Carlo Ancelotti, just a little bit overzealous in his complaint about that, has received a yellow card.
Yeah, and as I say, if he was to see the replay again, I think he would have a different opinion. But City back in the game now, and this could go either way.
Well, still the Real Madrid players are moaning about it. Only now does the ball come back onto the field so that play can restart.
I think Modric is complaining about the potential handball from John Stones earlier, by the way he's pointing, and to be fair, a game of football will break out again in a minute.
Well, did you think that was a handball?
Well, it skimmed his hand, but you can't get out of the way of it. It's physically impossible.
69 gone. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 1. Kevin De Bruyne with his 96th goal in Manchester City colours, his 10th of the season.
It could be the most important he's ever scored for this football club, maybe.
He was fantastic in that performance that he gave against Arsenal in the match that could well be pivotal towards one part of City's treble chance. A couple of goals that day, and he's just scored another hugely important one here. But 1-1, and over the tie as a whole, parity ensures that the most critical moment of the tie at large still lies ahead of us. Modric will be able to take control of the last 20 minutes of this first leg. So he tried to do that, trying to calm things down. Stones, and then he's lost it, and Modric will play it forward, and Walker did really well to come back in and flick it away. But earlier, a foul on Modric in the midfield by De Bruyne has been punished. Just a couple of seconds prior to that giveaway, and a Real Madrid free kick is the decision from the referee, about 18 yards outside the Manchester City penalty area. Tap short for Kroos, works it wide. Out to the Real Madrid right. Carvajal combining on that right flank with Rodrigo. Rudiger, back for Toni Kroos. Kroos trying to get it away from Haaland. Rodrigo will pick it up, right hand side of the box. Headed away by Walker. Brought down by Grealish. Flicked away by Gundogan. Gundogan turning on the edge of his own penalty area and turning right into trouble. And he's given a free kick away, and straight away raises his right hand by way of apology to his teammates. He's got a yellow card. Probably too many complaints about that. Danny Carvajal, the man that he caught, and it's a free kick, only about a yard adrift to the corner of the box.
Yeah, silly place to get caught on the ball. I've got to say, he's done well to get out the first one on the turn, but he's turned blind straight into Carvajal, and Carvajal was always going to make the most of that.
71 gone, 1-1 the score in this first leg. The semi-final, first leg tomorrow, Milan against Inter, and it's live on Talksport. 7 o'clock build-up ahead of an 8 o'clock kick-off tomorrow night. Real Madrid supporters doing their bit, almost the Madrid version of the Viking clap. What can they muster from this free kick? Toni Kroos is there, Vinicius is there as well. And it's going to be a left-footed attempt towards goal, and Edison scampered across his line and had it covered. Worth an attempt, I guess. It was Alaba that struck it, and he's got a decent track record. But that one missing the target by some distance. It's 1-1 with 18 minutes to go.
Just looking at a replay of the De Bruyne goal. I tell you what, fantastic strike, Jim. Great technique. He sort of hit across the ball almost, taking it on at a slight angle. And the power it generated was incredible.
We have seen 2 really high-quality goals though. We've seen a high-quality game as well. It's been fractious, frenetic at times. Both teams contriving to concede a goal when they've been on top. The second leg will be fantastic. We'll bring it to you 8 days' time. Manchester City hoping still that they will be able to garner a first leg advantage, as they did in the round of 16 3 years ago when they beat Madrid home and away.
It's little technicalities. I'll just tell you in a minute, Jermaine.
As Stones comes around the back and misses as he gets on the end of a long driven ball from De Bruyne. It's a goal kick.
It's little technicalities that you do in the game if you're a centre-forward. Ball just been played up there to Haaland. He's wrestling away with Rudiger. Rudiger's been pulled up for a free kick, and then Haaland's just left the ball on the floor and regained his own position. You get on top of the ball and you play a quick free kick. Now, full well, Rudiger will try to stop that and get booked for it. They're the little technicalities and the little nuances that you've got to do in games like this to keep racking up the pressure on the opposition players.
City will bring the ball forward from inside their own half. 1-1, and the goal has settled their nerves. Over the last 6 minutes they've been the better side again. And they have it here with De Bruyne, the goal scorer, looking for Haaland. Diving headed clearances knocked away by Rudiger. Haaland's got a half-decent record. He's failed to score, all told, in 14 games for Manchester City. And coming in those 14 games, on the matches on the back of days when he hasn't scored, he's got 12 goals. There haven't been too many occasions where he's gone 2 without a goal in City colours. That's the situation at the moment after he abdicated the taking of the penalty the other day. He's hardly had a sniff of goal tonight. There's still time. He's got it now, that little bit deep, or just a little loose. The first touch from him, it's spooned high up off his left boot. Bernardo Silva picks it up though, and comes back for Kyle Walker on halfway. We're into the final 15 minutes of this first leg. Still 1-1 the score here on Talksport. Jim Bradford and Stuart Pearce talking through the action from the magnificent Bernabeu. Stones pushing forward again, controlling the ball in the midfield. Bernardo Silva couldn't get to him, he left it for Rodri, didn't get to him either, and Real have very cheaply got possession back. They'll try and get it forward quickly. Kroos with the ball out towards the far side. Akanji coming across, did well, just got a foot in before Dani Carvajal, and that made the job of Jack Grealish that little bit easier. He plays it off Carvajal and out of play for a throw. They nearly got caught there.
What I wouldn't do at this stage with 75, 76 minutes on the clock is get caught out and throw the game away. I think City have done brilliantly to stay in the game. They've dominated the vast majority of the first half. They've got the equaliser. I'd be quite happy taking this back home and say, right, we'll give you another game on our own pitch.
Okay, so going back to that point you were making where you were advocating the change and you wanted to see a little bit more directness, particularly down the right flank, would you now say that since the equalising goal you should stick with these 11s? there's still no sign of any movement on the bench.
100% yes. I wouldn't change, because Bernardo Silva's got the ability to keep possession of the ball and not give it away, and that is probably exactly what's needed in this game, more so than an out-and-out winger that might go past someone.
He needs better service in the first place, though, if he's going to be able to keep possession, and he was given no chance with the crossfield ball from Gundogan there that sailed over his head and out of play for a throw. Gundogan's done really well to win it back, though, from that throw. Finds Haaland to Grealish, stabbed off quickly inside the centre circle, and Gundogan's touch was loose, but nothing he could do about it, really. It was drilled at him from such close range by Grealish, and then Madrid will be able to bring it forward on the right side of the area, and Benzema waiting for the pullback, didn't get to him. And Manchester City clear their lines again. 1-1 the score. This could easily be 2-1 either way. The brave man that would call it at the moment. Camavinga. Can't find a way through. De Bruyne has fouled it. And it's a free kick to Real Madrid. 8 or 9 yards outside the penalty area, left of centre. 1-1.
Yeah, Madrid opportunity now. Kroos over the ball. Opportunity to knock it in. I mean, Bernardo Silva there, I can't think he's got any complaints on that challenge.
So Kroos stands hands on hips. Could go for goal here, but the suggestion is that he's just going to tease it up into the far post area. He does exactly that, curving ball, bangs him over the head. A good save, Ederson. And City quickest to react, knock it away. And then there's an inquest about the offside flag that didn't come up. Stones was absolutely adamant, but he should have done. It's very close, having seen the replay. Wouldn't like to call it. Can understand why it didn't. Had the ball gone in, obviously VAR would have had a look at it. The flag stayed down, and the next phase of play starts with a Real Madrid throw on the right-hand touchline. 12 to go, 1-1. Modric inside the centre circle when he lays it off for Alaba. And then Alaba finds Kroos, and he will turn on the edge of the centre circle. And a ping one back out towards Dani Carvajal on the Real Madrid right. Setting up a magnificent second leg, you would imagine. If it stays this way, Manchester City will be the happier of the two teams. Valverde. Bruyne with the equalising goal for Manchester City after finishes his brilliant strike on the counter-attack in the first half. And Rodri has gone down, and Camavinga gets a yellow card.
Yeah, he's just took a really bad touch there, Camavinga, and just caught Rodri. Yeah, no doubt a yellow card there. As you say, if you're City now is the time you want to dominate the football, take the sting out of Madrid. I'd be more than happy to come away from here with a 1-1 and say, yeah, we'll take them on our own turf, put some pressure on the referee there, up the tempo of the game and see what they're made of.
Well, Pep has won a Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid in the past. That was with Barcelona back in 2011. Just a couple since then, once in his Bayern days, once, of course, last season with Manchester City. First change is going to be made in a moment for Real Madrid, and Asensio is going to come on. Asensio, who came off the bench and scored in a Champions League final back in the day in 2017. So came off the bench to score against Chelsea here a few weeks ago. And he's going to get 10 minutes. He'll be on next break in play. Stones has got the ball in central midfield for Manchester City. To Gundogan to Rodri. Rodri just shows a little bit of it towards Benzema and then plays it back for Diaz. So we go into the final 10. Diaz to the feet of Haaland. Diaz retreats very quickly and gets a return ball from Rodri and goes to his left for Akanji. Grealish to Rodri. You talk about how Manchester City approach it. How does Ancelotti approach it? Does he decide that 1-1 actually is not the worst result in the world, and that the fact that City are going to have to try and come out in the second leg means that he's not unhappy with the status quo being maintained going into the second leg? How does he approach this?
I think they would half suit him, to be fair. When you look on the running game, things always seem a little bit worse when it's happening against your team, and he would have seen our City have dominated those first 26 minutes, Jim, you know. He knows his team are good on the counter-attack. That might suit him on the road slightly. I think both these teams hinge on De Bruyne for City and Vinicius Junior. Making sure that they're fully fit for the second legs will be really important for both teams.
And just a reminder of the games coming up between now and then. Manchester City go to Everton on Sunday, and Real Madrid are in action at home to Getafe. Real Madrid mathematically can still win the league. They're not going to. They're third at the moment in La Liga, 14 points off the top with 15 left to play for.
You would think the duty of care from Ancelotti for his players to get them to the game next Wednesday in the best possible condition will mean they'll probably leave one or two out potentially.
Oh yeah, we'll see Mariano, Diaz and all sorts playing in that game of the weekend, I'm sure. Not necessarily with quite as much licence to rotate, although he's made 6 changes tonight, having made a 6 or 7 for the game at the weekend against Leeds United. It might be a side not dissimilar to that one that travels to Goodison Park on Sunday. Kyle Walker's got it, 8 minutes to go. And Walker turning again in the midfield with another opportunity to bring it forward, and more action on the Real Madrid bench. Tchouaméni is going to be on next.
This is where if I was City, I wouldn't be avoid of keeping that ball, making sure you don't overstretch yourself, making sure you can't get countered, and don't give it away cheaply.
They've read your mind. Walker goes 40 yards back to his goalkeeper. Boos and whistles from the Real Madrid supporters at the perception that this is a negative tactic from Manchester City, but Ederson wastes as much time as he thinks he can. He's got the ball at his feet, it's not in his hands. He can waste as much time as he wants, and just waits until Modric comes and engages before he plays out.
I'm just looking at the two Madrid centre-halves. When Ederson had the ball there, they're actually ganging up on Haaland, and within 10 metres are all 3 players. That tells me that the players on the width, namely Jack Grealish, has got a lot of space out there, and I just don't think he's made the most of it tonight. Hopefully in the second leg he'll make more of it, but I know as a fullback, last thing you want to be doing is defending wingers running at you all the time.
Kroos leaves the field. He might have done in first half injury time after a very poor challenge on Gundogan. He comes off now. Tchouaméni comes on to replace him. And Manchester City fans, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, are desperate to hear what you've got to say about this tonight. And 03717 223344 is the number. You can have your say after us on the Sports Bar here on Talksport. And then tomorrow morning, more reaction as well. With Rangers legend Ali McCoy joining Laura Woods from 6, and Gabby Agbonlahor with the pair of them from 8 o'clock tomorrow. And if you fancy a little bit of music and conversation of a non-sporting variety on your way to work tomorrow, you can have that no better place than the Chris Evans Breakfast Show from 6:30 on Virgin Radio tomorrow morning on DAB, or you can download the app. Now Real Madrid have another free kick here. There's a challenge on Camavinga, is punished by the referee. More irate voices with a Madrid accent just to emanate around the Bernabeu. 5.5 to go, plus stoppage time. There'll be a stack of stoppage time to be added. It's going to be a free kick which will be taken by Modric. Modric from Valverde. Back for Modric again. Modric down towards Vinicius, just waiting for a couple of challenges to come in on him, then released towards the edge of the penalty area. Modric can't quite turn, and Bernardo Silva caught his man, came in wrong side, he's yellow carded. And another free kick, this one won by Vinicius. And Bernardo Silva just gets a consoling arm around the shoulder from one of his teammates. It was a genuine attempt to win the ball, but Vinicius nipped in between ball and man, and Bernardo kicked him instead of the ball right on the edge of the box. And a free kick in a decent position here for Real Madrid.
It's in a very good position. Modric stood over it, right foot in swing, basically just inside the point of the box, if you like. Really would like someone to clean the game up a little bit more. Some of the diving that I've seen tonight is per normal.
Modric takes it, right-footed in, swinging delivery. Crucial that City head got to it, and it did. And it would go out of play for a corner. As it flashed out towards the far side of the penalty area, Rudiger is the conductor of the Madrid choir as he just raises his arms up, tries to get a little bit more volume. Another change is going to be made. This tells you exactly what Ancelotti thinks of the situation at the moment. He's taking Modric off, he's bringing Nacho on. So that's a defensive-minded change being made with 4 minutes of this first leg left to play.
Yeah, he'll obviously fancy his chances a little bit in the second leg. This game's nicely poised for the second leg as it stands. Obviously a goal one way or the other will tilt the balance a little bit further in that team's direction.
Nacho on, he won this competition in 2018, the only final he's played in that they've won. In comes the corner, and he couldn't find Nacho or any of the other aerial targets. 3 to go. City clear. Carvajal picks it up inside the centre circle and plays in Camavinga. Camavinga down the line for Vinicius. Vinicius back inside his own half for Camavinga again. Camavinga back for Dani Carvajal, and he will turn. Playing back to his goalkeeper Courtois, takes the touch by the penalty spot, gets it away from the on-rushing Haaland, looks long, headed down by John Stones, brought under control by Silva. Camavinga snapping at his heels. Silva's able to maintain possession, goes back towards the edge of his own penalty area, and then hits an excellent crossfield ball towards Akanji. Akanji takes the touch, back for Diaz. Diaz with an aerial ball for De Bruyne, the City goal scorer. And then De Bruyne receiving the seconds in the midfield, just exchanges passes with Gundogan. And City again, slow possession right down. 2 minutes to go, it's 1-1. Manchester City trailed in this first leg for half an hour, but remedied the situation at the moment, but they know all too well that there could be plenty of late drama at this stadium. Throw taken quickly by Real Madrid. And one back just as quick by Manchester City, and now Grealish will be able to bring it forward, and he's got Haaland making a run ahead of him, and he's ridden the challenge, and he almost slipped it down the inside left channel where Haaland loves to probe, but it just didn't fall his way, and Real can block it and get it away. And Vinicius on halfway under pressure from Walker just lays it back in the end for Tchouaméni. 90 seconds remain. 1-1 the score. Tchouaméni back towards the edge of his own penalty area. Alaba down towards Nacho. Nacho back for Alaba again. And they play further forward. So Nacho on at left back, and Camavinga, the man that's taken the place of Luka Modric in the midfield after that change was made. Dani Carvajal chasing a 50-50 with Jack Grealish, and he got there first ahead of the Brummie. And it's well played towards Asensio in the midfield for Real Madrid. We're in the 90th minute. This is where Rodrigo struck at this end of the ground a year ago, almost to the day. Vinicius across the edge of the penalty area. Valverde can't get himself into a shooting position, but he can show for the return ball from Carvajal. Comes back outside the penalty area again. Carvajal in. Camavinga with a little flick. Layout from Benzema. Right footed shot. Brilliantly stopped. Tchouaméni hits it with real ferocity. And Ederson's made a brilliant, crucial save.
We've seen 3 fantastic shots from outside the box. Technical ability, absolutely spot on. 2 of it at the back of the net, and that arguably could have been the best of all 3, which was saved brilliantly by the cap.
In comes the corner, and City win the defensive header. Comes back on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Another one that's driven in. Another appeal for handball, not for the Real Madrid players this time. Well, England fans know that Tchouaméni can hit him from distance to good effect. That was a brilliant strike. Ederson did well, poured it away with the top hand coming over to the right hand and flicked it over the bar for that corner. We're into stoppage time, and there are 3 minutes to play. And Real work it forward from the back, and everybody stops for a moment. And it's going to be a free kick to Real on halfway.
Yeah, just hit the referee there, actually. A pass hits the heel of the referee, and he stopped the game. And
drops the ball at the feet of Tchouaméni, and play will continue. Nacho's got it for Real Madrid. 1-1 the scoreline in the first of the 3 additional minutes. Ederson making sure that lightning didn't strike twice with a crucial 90th minute concession here at the Bernabeu. And finishes with a lovely reverse ball. Camavinga will make his way for the Madrid fans in front of us. Get up to their feet. Camavinga with a shot. Couldn't get it past Walker, who blocks it and then clears. Haaland, the outball, couldn't hold it up. Alaba winning it back. Chouameni has looked really lively since coming on in the few minutes that he has been on the field. Nacho down for Camavinga again. Camavinga midway inside Manchester City territory comes in off the left-hand touchline. Vinicius replaces him over there and gets the pass. Camavinga stumbling as he tries to receive it, tackled himself. Haaland, he was caught. Play goes on with De Bruyne, has got possession. Haaland's back on his feet and he's found space, but De Bruyne couldn't find him. And Real knock it away.
Yeah, any slip by any player and both teams are at you straight away with a counter-attack opportunity. Unfortunate there that De Bruyne couldn't get his head up. Rudiger, credit to him, put some good pressure on the ball.
Valverde on the Real Madrid left-hand side in the second of the 3 additional minutes. Back for Nacho. Neither of these sides are going to be too perturbed if it stays this way, but Real just hoping to somehow garner a first leg advantage, because the psychological effect of doing that this late in the game could be enormous going back to Manchester in 8 days' time. Vinicius doing well to get past a couple of Manchester City pairs of legs. It's an excellent ball from him out towards Dani Carvajal, who stumbles but maintains possession on the corner of the area. Camavinga can't get a shot in. Lays it off for Nacho, who on his weaker foot tries his luck. Deflected off a City player, spoon high up in the air. Edison comes out to catch it, and that means the City should be taking a positive result back next week.
Well, once again, it was that man Vinicius Junior started that attack. He picks it up, he gets turned, he drives at you, and he is a real handful.
And that is the full-time whistle. Honours even. And there were long times in that game that Manchester City would certainly have settled for that. The better side in the opening half hour, but Real Madrid scored at the end of City's advantage with Vinicius smacking one in on the counter-attack. Their first attempt of the game. Kevin De Bruyne equalised in the second half when Real Madrid had been on top. It was bad-tempered and feisty at times, but only an outstanding save from Edison right at the end of the game has given Manchester City a positive result. All to play for in an intriguing, fascinating second leg next week, because it's all square after the first. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 1.